Hey folks, it's Josh, Stoney Ridge Farmer. Welcome to the farm vlog today. Finally, we're getting a chance to work on our Cummins Dodge. I had a carrier bearing go bad in the Dodge, or at least I'm getting a strong vibration in the rear / middle of the truck, and I slipped a camera underneath it in this video right here. There'll be a video posted right there to try and see what the heck was going on. At first I thought my transmission was going out and I really didn't know what the heck was going on. So today, for the very first time, I'm going to install a carrier bearing, and here's what the bearing itself looks like right here, okay? So this bearing basically holds the drive shaft up. It's a 2 or 3 piece, it's got grease on it. It's a 2 or 3 piece drive shaft, and we need to replace this bearing. So come along today, we're going to get up under the Dodge Cummins truck and show you what's going on. I call this my unicorn truck because there's just not another one like it, guys. So let's get to work. Stoney Ridge, from Stoney Ridge, Stoney Ridge Farm. So guys, here's my mechanic disclaimer. I don't claim to be a master mechanic. I'm just a guy in his backyard doing some stuff. So if you have any tips, anything that might help out, please leave a comment. Don't leave condescending, hateful, dumb comments, because they'll just be deleted and they're not helpful. So help us out. That'd be fun. Don't be a jerk. All right, so let's get up under here and let me show you what's really wrong here. I've got my creeper. We'll slide up underneath. It's so nice to be able to work on a big truck like this and not have to jack it up. We'll get up under here and I'll show you what's going on. All right, we don't need these shades anymore. So guys, we're up underneath a 2000 model Dodge Ram Cummins 5.9 liter automatic. And right here is my issue. The transmission, the end of the transmission is here, and the carrier bearing is right down here. So this is the bearing that we're going to have to replace. It's a little bit old, rusty and crusty, and basically it's got a little bit of play in it, and it's really making a loud, annoying noise. So basically we've got two options. On the top of this carrier bearing housing, there's a bolt here and another bolt over there, or we can just take these 4 bolts out and drop the drive shaft. So I think what we're going to do is try and get these 4 bolts off. There's 2 on this side and 2 over here on the other side, and we'll get those 4 off, and then we'll go ahead and pull the drive shaft. I'll show you what we got on the other side. So there's the other 2. There's 1 there and 1 right there. There are 2 bolts here that might be easy to get to, but we'll have to see. It's kind of a tight little spot right here. I think we'd be better off to pull these 4, and I'm gonna go ahead and soak them down with some PB Blaster. The reason I call this my unicorn is because there is not a truck cleaner than this out there. It's just unbelievably clean. Look underneath here. It's just clean as a whistle. No rust, not even a hint of rust. So awesome, awesome. We're gonna let that penetrating oil do its job for a little bit, and then we're gonna get busy trying to get those bolts out. Should be pretty simple. So for us to drop the drive shaft, basically it should just come right apart after I drop that center mounting bracket off. The whole drive shaft should slowly drop down. And we'll be real careful and protect the drive shaft ends. We'll put some plastic bags around those. Let's get busy. So the biggest challenge here is to get a wrench up in here to hold it in place while we loosen these 4 bolts. So I've gotten this one loose, and it was pretty simple, pretty easy. You can see I greased it down pretty good with some PB Blaster. So we're going to go ahead and get this guy off here. I can't hold the camera and get that nut off, so I'm just going to get busy and get it done and let you guys listen. Yeah, baby. Gotta like that. Came right out. 2 more bolts and the drive shaft will be sitting on my belly. Got every tool in my toolbox underneath the truck here. Stay on there, baby. That's it. That's my little lady right there. Okay, 1 more bolt and we should have the drive shaft down. Now, a smarter person than I would have a jack stand underneath right here. So let me grab. There's a jack stand within eyesight. I don't think I need a jack stand. I think it'll just come on down gently. This might be famous last words. You know why I'm not getting a jack stand? It's because I'm just being lazy. Let's see if lazy pays off. Yeah, she's coming on down. Woo! Watch your eyes, sonny. All right. Well, just like I said, drive shaft laying on my belly. According to the books, should be able to just slip this drive shaft right out. Literally every tool in my toolbox is under this truck. See if she'll slip out of the rear end. No, it's a 2-piece drive shaft. according to everything I've studied, this guy should just pop right out and hopefully not spill transmission fluid all over me. I don't think she's gonna pop right out. Oh, you duty head. Duty. Drop that screw one more time, boy. All right, let me tell you what I failed to do back here at the drive shaft connection to the rear end. I have to unbolt that. I'll show you. So there are 4 bolts, 2 on this side and 2 on the other side. Let's get those out. Last bolt. Guys, I'm using sockets in a socket set that I got in high school. I'm 40 years old. That says something about Craftsman. Might not be a pro grade tool, but tell you what, they last. All right, let's pop this drive shaft loose here. Yep, gonna have to tap her with a hammer. There we go. Popped right out. Just need to hit it right there on the yoke instead of hitting it on the bearing like a dummy. Clean that up good with a wire brush when we get done. Awesome, got her loose. So this 2-piece drive shaft has a boot right here, and I just popped the little metal ring off the boot. We'll have to get a new one of those, and then basically it just slips right apart here, just like so. Nice. Now I just put a bolt up here just to hold this big guy in place when we take him to the shop. We got a buddy that has a body shop that has a press, and this bearing will have to be pressed off and pressed back on. So hopefully I got the right bearing. We'll slip this guy out of here. Also, I also have a marking pin, a paint marking pin right here, and I'll mark the position of my drive shaft on the transmission and on the drive shaft before I slip it out of this yoke, just in case I need to know that. Little tidbit of information, just in case. Truck's not gonna move, so. All right, drive shaft is out. I'm gonna protect this guy, protect him and protect the other end. Roll out from under here. All right, so here's the drive shaft, and there's the little rubber boot I was telling you about, and that's the spline that goes into the secondary part of the drive shaft, and this is what goes up, mounts up in the transmission, okay? And that's our little mark right there. We're gonna put bags and rubber bands around each end so we don't contaminate these and take them to the machine shop. I say machine shop, but it's actually a body shop. Why would I use rubber bands when I have zip ties? Master Blaster runs by the town. We went to my buddy's shop, and he's just not cool with cameras being around there, so we pressed our new bearing on. Here is our new bearing right here. Looks very good, very, very nice. Smooth as silk. The other bearing was pretty smooth. This one's smooth, it's good. The new bearing actually came with 2 new bolts, and they're all in this box, and I'll show you the old bearing. This is a carrier bearing, okay? That's what they call it. Just supports the drive shaft, and the bearing itself was spinning freely, all right? But for some reason, the rubber around the outside edge here, well, you can't see it there. The rubber around the outside edge had deteriorated and started cracking. You can see it come loose right there. So we're just gonna slap this drive shaft back in, hopefully. Now I did get some blue Loctite, not the red Loctite that locks it forever, but the blue Loctite for when we hook up our drive shaft back to our rear end. I don't want that to come loose. Now blue Loctite will come loose, red Loctite, that's pretty much forever. But the blue Loctite will just hold it in place, and that way it doesn't vibrate loose. A lot of vibration, a lot of movement down here in this part of the truck. So let's get back under the truck and reinstall it. One more thing I'd like to mention, these clamps, be careful when you take those off so you can reuse them. They are nearly impossible to find at an auto parts store. So we had to use these universal clamps. I'm not really a fan of universal anything, okay? I want to do this right. This truck is my baby. I want to take care of it. Also of note, we had to buy another tool. So the nuts on this that hold this thing in place are 3/8 nuts. We bought this toolkit right here. This is an extreme access socket set, okay? The way it works, I'm gonna open it up right here and I'll show you the sockets. We've got a clearance issue down here and we're not able to hold the bolt in place as good as I'd like to. So I'll show you what we're gonna do. So what this extreme access socket set does is it takes a standard wrench, which would stick up this much and shrinks it down just low enough where I can get it in there. So I use the impact at the bottom and a box end wrench at the top to hold it in place. Now I could hold it in place good, but I don't feel like I could tighten it up good enough. So I bought this from Cobalt. I don't get paid from Cobalt to tell you this, but I can always slide my box end over top of this and slide the nut on, or I can just slide this socket on and reach up in there and get in here with this low clearance socket set, and that will get the job done. Pretty cool. I've never seen anything like it. Maybe you haven't either. Nice to have for that tight clearance. So it's a bit difficult to film this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna line up our drive shaft here with the splines on the, I believe that's either the transmission or the crank or the transfer case. Now we marked our drive shaft before we removed it so that our splines would line back up, and we're gonna slide this back into that hole right over there. So it should line right up with our lines, and then we'll hook both of the two-piece drive shaft back together, and you may hear some grunting and groaning. All right, let's get busy. Slide you in the hole, baby. Grunt and groan. Oh, like a glove. It's always good to talk to yourself in projects like this. Get us a rag here, and we need to be able to line up our rear drive shaft. So the next step here, we're gonna go ahead and we're just gonna lay this guy down on a nice clean rag. Don't want to introduce any dirt on these splines. We're gonna go down to the rear end and we're gonna hook up the drive shaft to the rear end, okay? I love this creeper. It's awesome. Right here's where we attach to our rear axle, and it's just 4 bolts. I'm using Loctite on this because it just makes sense for me to use Loctite. It's the blue Loctite that will come loose, so if any of you guys have any advice, any of you mechanic guys, please let me know. But the blue Loctite comes loose, it just holds the threads in, and there's no sort of locking washer or anything on this, so if it's vibrating, I think a little bit of blue Loctite wouldn't hurt a thing. All right, let's get busy. Right the way he, whoa, baby, come on now. All righty. Don't you fall, you turd. I'm gonna need a tetanus shot after I get done with this. My exhaust system is, well, it's 20 years old, so it's rusty. It's time to replace. We do a lot of good upgrades with these trucks with the new exhaust system, so we'll be on the search. If any of you guys know of a good bolt-in exhaust system for a 24 valve Cummins diesel 2000 model, let me know. I'd like to get a bolt-in exhaust system on this thing and make it run right, make it run nice. Let's get our splines all lined up here, get them together. So I'm finding there's a specific order that you're gonna have to do. You need to get your drive shaft down here, install into the transmission area, then slide the 2-piece drive shaft together right there, then take that bracket and put 1 nut and bolt through up here where it mounts up to the frame of the truck, and then go back to your rear end and put those 4 bolts back in. We're gonna get busy. All right, just tighten up this last clamp on the rear end here, and then we can put our 4 bolts in. Now, a smarter man than I would probably be using a torque wrench for this, but I'm just gonna tighten them down really, really tight. I don't have the specs that I need to tighten those down with a torque wrench, so maybe we'll Google those specs tonight and we'll go ahead and torque it down to spec. But for now, we're just gonna make them tight. Hopefully, this doesn't make me an idiot. I am famous for breaking a bolt off. These seem to be hardened, they didn't break off. 4 more bolts to go. Then we'll try it out and cross our fingers that this was the issue. This was the vibration, I hope. If it wasn't the vibration, it's back to the drawing board. I watch a lot of these shows on TV, these truck U shows and a lot of these car restoration shows. Guys, we've got a 68 Ford Bronco we might be doing a restoration job on. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, jump on there and subscribe. That'll be a real good time, real fun. Pretty rusty old project, but it was a 68 Bronco passed down from my dad to me, and something that'll be really special build here on the farm. And right now we're just kind of getting it running where we can move it around if we need to, and look forward to a fun project there. Need a cameraman. I've got some local guys, some local high school kids that want to come and practice their camera skills. So we may end up having those guys up here as volunteers to learn how to use a camera and maybe film a little bit of a restoration job. That'd be kind of fun. It's really, really difficult to film underneath a vehicle like this. I've got a lot of respect for those guys that are out there doing YouTube videos on auto mechanics. All right, it's time for the test drive. Cross your fingers, say a prayer. Whatever it is that you do, jump up and down on one foot. Hopefully this fixed our vibration issue. I'm pretty sure it will though. Let's take our old Cummins for a little drive. Heading out the driveway, so far so good. I'll know as soon as I hit the blacktop whether it's good or not. Let's get the gate open here. Well guys, as much as I'd like to say that this fixed the issue, there's still something wrong with the Cummins. It did not fix it. There's still a strong sound of vibration kind of coming from the front end here. I don't know if it's transmission or transaxle or what. The vibration is much better, but not quite on the money. I don't know. Maybe the drive shaft's out of balance. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's vibrating. It's bothering me. I don't want to drive my truck. I haven't driven it but probably 10 miles in the last, I'm going to say 4 months or so. All this started after a snowstorm. I had to use four-wheel drive. I had to drive it about 30-something miles in four-wheel drive. I'm calling Uncle. I'm saying Uncle to this. I'm going to take it into the dealer and I'm going to have them check it out, I guess. I don't know. Guys, leave me some input. Tell me what you think is causing the vibration. It seems like, before it seemed like it was in the middle, but now it just seems like it's in the front. As I go slower, it gets worse and worse. It doesn't seem to matter if it's in two-wheel drive or four-wheel drive. When I slow down, it really, really gets bad. I'm gonna pull it in the shop one more time. I'm gonna take a look and see if maybe it's a joint in the axle that's shaking loose. I don't know. We put new tires on it because I thought it might have been a busted belt, and the tires were pretty dry rotted and cracked. We've done the carrier bearing. All the U-joints on the rear end look good. The only thing else I can think of that I might be able to repair is if it's an U-joint in the front that might be shaking loose. So it all seemed to start after I had to use four-wheel drive and drive it for about 30 miles this winter in the snow. But I haven't been able to drive this thing more than 20 miles or so in the past 4 months. This diesel truck needs to be driven. I need to use it. Got to get on it. We got to get busy. I'll keep you posted on the vlog. Kind of a fail day. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Pound that like button. We'll see you next time on Stoney Ridge Farm. Hopefully, we'll know what's wrong with this Cummins Dodge.
In the land of the free and the home of the brave, I'm proud of who I am, and I'm proud of what I made on a Stoney Ridge. Woo!